Welcome to WSBU FM 88.3 The Buzz. You're listening to the Bonaventure Sun. Before we get into everything, I'd like to just begin with saying happy birthday to my mom. Shout out Julie Maurer. That was shout out, not shut up, by the way. But love you, Mom. Happy birthday. So to start off, today is the 31st Sunday in Ordinary Time. On November 2nd, we celebrate All Souls Day. And due to the way All Saints Day falls on the liturgical calendar, we also celebrate that day today. All Souls Day is a day for praying for the souls of the faithful departed, and is often observed with special masses, prayers, and by remembering loved ones. Following the Feast of All Saints, this day is dedicated to honoring all the dead who are believed to be in purgatory, awaiting entry into heaven. As for All Saints Day, it reminds people... Oh, goodness gracious, I said following the Feast of All Saints. All Souls. So, as for All Saints Day, I apologize, it reminds people of their connection to the great cloud of witnesses throughout history and encourages them to live their own lives of faith as though who came before us did. The souls in purgatory need more help than we may realize in a day, so offer up your grief, pain, and all that plagues you for the souls in need. In honor of All Saints Day, remember that these saints have set out a lifestyle for all Christians should try to attain, for they lived as Christ did. So in this day, we ask for all their intercessions. Now to get into the news. The 27th was Saint Frumentius's feast day, known as the Abba of Ethiopia, or Father of Peace. He was the 4th century saint who brought Christianity to the Aksumite kingdom, now known as Ethiopia. As a young man, he traveled with his uncle Meropius on a voyage to India. Their ship stopped at Aksum, but the crew was attacked. Meropius was killed, and Frumentius and his brother Odysseus were taken as slaves to the Ethiopian king. After the king's death, Frumentius helped the queen govern as a regent for her young son Ezana. Under Frumentius's influence, King Ezana converted to Christianity, making Aksum one of the first Christian nations in the world, around 330 to 340 AD. He's credited with establishing churches, schools, and clergy across the region. As for today, though, Pope Leo, or not today, but this day and age, Pope Leo issued an apostolic letter on education at a mass for the Jubilee of the educational world. The Pope issued a new set of instructions for Catholic educators. He urged them to focus less on professional career outcomes and more on fostering students' spiritual lives and ethical technology use. He also met with King Philip and Queen Matilda of Belgium during their visit to the Vatican. As for the 28th, Saints Simon and Jude that's their feast day, also known as Simon and Thaddeus. They were two of Christ's apostles who tradition holds were martyred together in Persia, modern-day Iran. St. Jude is also widely known as the patron saint of lost causes and desperate situations. In life, there are so many circumstances that come about that are inherently out of our power. In these cases, I think that one of the greatest prayers we have for these cases is the Serenity Prayer. It goes, give me the serenity to accept that which I cannot change, the courage to change that which I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer has helped me a lot as of late, but even in the darkest times, after you have said this prayer more than a couple of times, it always helps to pray for St. Jude's intercession, for he is the patron saint of lost causes. You may not. You can pray the Serenity Prayer 1,000 times over, but if you really do believe that whatever it is a true lost cause, pray to St. Jude. Ask for his intercession. So the founding, I find that the St. Jude's Children's Hospital has a very heartwarming story, so I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm going to kind of cut it down a little bit, but you can research this. It's wonderful. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital was founded in 1962 by entertainer Danny Thomas, who vowed as a struggling young actor that if God helped him find success, he would build a shrine to St. Jude, St. Thaddeus, the patron saint of hopeless causes. After achieving fame, Thomas fulfilled his promise by creating a hospital that where children with serious diseases, especially cancer, could be treated regardless of race, religion, or ability to pay. I think it's wonderful. I think that's a beautiful story, and Obviously a great example of, probably you might not have known that's why St. Jude was, the Children's Hospital was called that, but I think it's wonderful. So pray to St. Jude if you need it. On this day, Pope Leo also celebrated Holy Mass and led the canonization of 4 blesseds in St. Peter's Square. So he's really getting on that, I'll tell you what. The 29th was the feast day for St. Narcissus of Jerusalem and falls on the Wednesday of the 30th week in Ordinary Time. It is also the feast day for St. Alphonsus Rodriguez and Blessed Thomas of Florence. So St. Narcissus of Jerusalem was a bishop who presided over a council that decreed Easter should always be celebrated on a Sunday. He's considered a patron saint against insect bites. So, as I said in one of my previous shows, there's practically a saint for everything. So, God forbid you get a tick. Pray to Saint Narcissus. I think that's great. There's just something for everybody, for everything, and especially, insect bites. Hey, you could get malaria from that. So, if you go, you get bit by a mosquito, you could get malaria. So, pray to Saint Narcissus. Blessed Thomas of Florence was a priest and member of the Order of Friars Servants of Mary, who lived in the 14th century. All great saints, to say the least. I love these guys. Pope Leo, he emphasized that true interreligious dialogue. So on this day, he said this, on the 29th. Interreligious dialogue mirrors Jesus' encounter with the Samaritan woman, rooted in sincerity, mutual respect, and the search for truth, in spirit and in truth. The Pope highlighted Nostra Aetate, enduring message to view followers of other faiths as companions on the journey toward truth, honoring both differences and shared humanity. The Pope called for unity among all religions, again, still with this interreligious dialogue. I do like how recently he's very emphasizing this. I think this is something that we don't really talk about a lot. So he called for unity among all religions to confront modern challenges, especially war, environmental degradation, and ethical uses of artificial intelligence. Again, another very big thing. I like that he's stressing this. So he's stressing that technology must serve human dignity. He urged believers to work together to restore hope, peace, and compassion in the world. Because as much as AI and ChatGPT can get your homework done, it can't exactly restore hope or peace in the world. So let's get on that, if I may say so myself. On the 30th, the feast day for 2 saints was celebrated. St. Alphonsus Rodriguez. He was a Spanish lay brother of the Society of Jesus, known for his 45 years as a porter at a college in Mallorca, where he influenced many, including St. Peter Claver. Also, St. Marcellus of Tangier, a Roman centurion who refused to participate in sacrifices to Roman gods during Emperor Maximian's birthday festivities. He was martyred in 298 AD for his refusal to obey this order. During a public celebration for the emperor's birthday around 298 AD, again the same year he was martyred, Marcellus refused to participate in the pagan rituals. This was wrong. So, lots of pagan rituals. He took off his military belt and armor, declaring that it was wrong for a Christian to serve idols or offer sacrifices to them. He openly proclaimed, "It is not right for a Christian who serves the Lord Christ to serve your gods." Because of this act of defiance, he was arrested and brought before a military tribunal, led by the judge Fortunatus. Despite being urged to reconsider, Marcellus stood firm in his faith and was beheaded for refusing to renounce Christ. I think this is great. I think that St. Marcellus shows, in this day and age, that while back then he was he would have been participating in pagan rituals and was, serving these idols. We have idols in our lives. I went through this with in one of my previous shows about you have brands like Gucci and Prada and stuff like that that cost a lot of money, and people spend every dime that they have on these pieces of clothing or whatever it may be, where they could be giving that money to somebody in need. We worship these idols like with Supreme. The other it was a couple of years back, I remember seeing that they were selling a brick. So obviously I think it was a joke, but even still, people bought this brick, and it's a good reminder to me at the very least, that we still have idols like that in our lives. Like, yeah, sure, you're not making a huge golden calf out of gold, implied, but you're not making the statue and worshiping it. But we have our own golden calves in our world, and you just need to realize that you can't idolize that because you have Christ. Give everything to him. Whatever you have left, give it to him. So, on the 31st, it was the feast day of Saint Wolfgang of Ratisbon, a Benedictine monk, missionary, and bishop who lived in the 10th century. So, among that, Pope Leo also celebrated Mass in St. Peter's Square at the Holy See for the Feast of All Saints and the conclusion of the Jubilee of Education. So, it is his feast day, but Pope Leo, he's celebrating it a little bit early, also with the conclusion of the Jubilee of Education. During that Mass, he declared St. John Henry Newman, an English cardinal and theologian, to be a doctor of the Church. So, we got another one, making him the 38th to hold that title. He was also named Newman as co-patron of Catholic education alongside St. Thomas Aquinas, whom you may have learned about in Sunday school, maybe. I think St. Thomas Aquinas, I read a book on him while I was being homeschooled in my 8th grade year because of COVID. I read a book on him, and he is truly fascinating. He was one of the priests that I was one of the saints that I was thinking about taking as my confirmation name. He's wonderful. I look into him, please, for the love of God. He also, in his homily, he addressed educators and students, calling them to shine like stars in the world through truth and integrity, and emphasized that educational settings should be gateways to a civilization of dialogue and peace. So, again, but I really do like what Pope Leo's doing lately, with the interreligious dialogue. And as somebody who's currently going into adolescence education as a major, and theology, dual majoring, just throwing that out there, make myself sound cooler. So I like that with all this stuff, he's emphasizing, education and interreligious dialogue. I think that it's things that I haven't really heard about a lot. Just kind of like, it feels like they've been like shoved away. Because not to name names or anything, but there was a Sunday school that I was a part of, where the priest chose that the classes should only meet once a month, and none of those kids whom I got when they came up to confirmation, none of those kids, when we changed it to being every week, I had to reteach them practically everything that they should have learned before, because it was more on the parents to teach them things that isn't for them to teach. Your parents are supposed to teach you in the way of Catholicism, how to live your life, not to teach you, sacraments and gifts of the Holy Spirit and everything else. Because, gifts of the Holy Spirit is confirmation. That's something I taught. But, the stuff that maybe you don't get on a daily basis needs to be learned at Sunday school. And if you're not, nailing it into them, they're not going to learn anything. And especially if it's once a month, they're not going to think, oh, geez, we got to go to Sunday school. It's going to be can we just skip? Because that's what happened. A lot of people just skipped. So, I like that he's emphasizing education lately. Yesterday, as you may know, was the Solemnity of All Saints. This major feast is also known as All Hallows Day and honors all saints, both these canonized by the Church and the multitude of unnamed saints in heaven. Yesterday, the Pope presided over the Mass for the Solemnity of All Saints, and during the celebration, he formally proclaimed St. John Henry Newman, as I said, and he also mentioned, alongside the emphasis on role of education, the dignity of the human person and formation of young people. So, kind of what I think he meant with the formation of young people was more or less getting together, talking, being young people in the Church. I want to go into St. John Henry Newman, because this is a pretty big thing. It's not every day that you see somebody made a doctor of the Church. I think it's fascinating. So, St. John Henry Newman was an English theologian, philosopher, and writer. Originally, he was an Anglican priest. He then became a leading figure in the Oxford movement, which sought to revive the Catholic roots of the Church of England. After deep study and reflection, Newman converted to Catholicism in 1845, a move that cost him his career and reputation in England, but strengthened his faith. He was later made a cardinal and became one of the most influential Catholic thinkers of the 19th century. He has writings such as The Idea of a University and Apologia Pro Vita Sua, which shaped Catholic education and modern understanding of conscience and faith. So, two really good writings, to be honest with you. I would read through those if you ever have if you're really interested and you really want to know more about this guy. I would read through those; they're very good. But again, becoming a doctor of the church is something it's fascinating to me. I love it. So, congratulations to St. John Henry Newman. Look more into him. Again, in this show, I give you the bare bones of what's going on. But a lot of these saints that I mention are fascinating, and you should look into their lives, because there's a reason they're saints. They weren't just chosen out of a bucket. Oh, geez, this guy looks interesting, let's put him on. They did something. They're fascinating. So look into them more. Lord, give me the serenity to accept that which I cannot change, the courage to change that which I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Reinhold Niebuhr, a prominent American theologian in the 20th century. So, a lot has happened in this past week, and a lot is still to come. Hurricanes sweeping through the Caribbean, while a metaphorical hurricane seems to sweep through your life. A home in which you thought you could give you serenity, now destroyed. And yet beyond all that, we persevere. We overcome all that could destroy us. We only have two eyes, and the way in which they are positioned on our head only allows us to see so much. Something I find fascinating is that every person that you know has a different perception of you, that you yourself cannot comprehend because of certain factors that are out of your control. The way you feel that day, you see them, the way they see you, their upbringing opposed to your own, and many more. I could go on listing all the things that influence others' perceptions of yourself. However, the only perception that you can change is your own. I've noticed how people can live their lives never interacting with one specific person, and yet, without their knowing, can impact that person without ever speaking to them. A person you once knew doing well for themselves now motivating you to push yourself further. A content creator saying something that speaks to you in that moment, and you have never met that person and may never. An ex that has moved on too quick, and it hurts you deeply, because maybe you wish that they would hold on longer. Whatever it may be, the point I'm trying to make is that no one can dictate your life, except you. Choose to persevere. Don't dwell on the moment, but fix that which you can now, and look towards the future with hope and confidence that this bump that cannot last forever. Life is difficult. The human condition, the human life is to overcome. Continue to do so. So, in our responsorial psalm, we had, "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want." As we will see in the gospel, the Lord guides us like a sheep within a pasture. If we look out at the meadow that looks so enticing to venture off into, we will go astray. Christ leads us back to where we must be. It's honestly beautiful how the Lord uses the symbolism of him being a shepherd, because it's not as if the shepherd restricts the sheep from going off and grazing, but he keeps an eye on them to make sure they don't stray too far. So too in life we may drift away, but if we truly want that safety, security, and solace, we must always come back to the Lord our shepherd. So, the gospel today was very short, so I'd like to reread it to kind of really cement it into your brains here. So, Jesus said to the crowds, "Everything that the Father gives me will come to me, and I will not reject anyone who comes to me, because I came down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. And this is the will of the one who sent me, that I should not lose anything of what he gave me, but that I should raise it on the last day. For this is the will of my Father, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have eternal life, and I shall raise him on the last day." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So, in this, we can kind of start with, I will not reject anyone who comes to me. I've noticed this a lot in people lately, that, somebody did you wrong. I find that the worst thing you can do is to ostracize them, maybe not avoiding them, but entirely casting them out. If somebody does something wrong to you, you should tell them that they wronged you, if they don't realize. And then afterwards, you should accept them with loving arms. I circle back to the prodigal son. If somebody truly feels sorry, they will come back. If they don't, they won't. But if they do, you accept them with warm and loving hands. So, to move a little bit farther down, Jesus speaks of how God the Father sent him to fulfill certain duties, and that all else is inconsequential because the path that the Father set out for him is the only path he should take. If we as Christians are to truly seek out the path of Jesus and follow it, we must be like him, not just in our own creation, as we were made in God's likeness, but so too in our actions. In life, so much will lead you astray. It's in overcoming our struggles and building ourselves from it while seeking Christ. So, in our actions, similar to how Francis taught, is that we, as Christians, should seek to be like Christ. Christ-like in the sense that we help the poor. We help those that are poor in spirit. We go out and we do good. Because, as you may know, I have friends here that aren't entirely Christian or religious at all. And yet, when I speak to them, they'll kind of tell me, they almost always have like a very specific, something in common that they all share. And that's that they will have gone to the church, maybe because their parents told them to, or maybe they'll be interested so they want to see what it's about. So they will go to the church, and the people within the church will give them hardship, will make them feel awkward, or like they don't belong. Whether it's in their actions or their words, it doesn't matter, because what they're doing is that they're ostracizing them. This person who is coming to the church, it's put in a very well way, that the church is not, it's similar to a hospital. You don't go to the hospital if you're feeling well. You go to the hospital when you're feeling sick. So too with the church is that when you feel poor in spirit, you go to the church. And if we as Christians do not accept everybody, though the murderers, the chastisers, the everybody that does wrong towards others or themselves, we're not to send them on their way, go packing, or send them packing. We do not say, go away. We need to accept them, bring them in. I think it was funny the other day, my friend Kyle, he didn't know that there was daily mass in the human great room at the same time that he was leading class. So one of these days, I saw him walking, and so I opened up the doors to University Ministries, and I said, "Hey, how about them Giants?" Because he's a huge Giants fan. And he's like, "Oh, great, I love, great game yesterday." And so he walked in, and I was like, "Hey, sit down, let's talk about it." And this was like maybe 10 minutes before Mass. And then I was like, "Wait a second, just give me a second. Mass is about to start." He's like, "What?" And then we went through Mass, and afterwards he's like, "You really snuck me in there, huh?" And I was like, "That's what I do." And afterwards he was like, "So it's in here every day at the same time, right?" And so, I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. You should come more often." He's like, "I was wanting to come to daily Mass." So, not saying that Kyle was poor in spirit, or poor at all in any way. He's doing quite fine for himself. I think he's got pretty good grades here. The idea is that be that hand. Outreach yourself. Look for the people that need help. And maybe they'll grab onto. So continuing on with the gospel, I found that in this last bit here, one of the largest arguments that modern-day Protestants use that is inherently incorrect is this idea of being saved by faith alone. So this can be traced back to Martin Luther, but I've noticed specifically within this gospel reading, this line here is the most misinterpreted. So, it is said that all who believe in Christ will inherit eternal life. But what they miss is that to believe in him is holding to the life of Christ, following the commandments, doing as he taught. And so, to be Christ-like means repenting. Example is that the thief on the cross wanted to be with Christ. On the cross, he repented and confessed directly to God in the flesh. And to repent, we must own up to our actions and seek reconciliation, which is why we have confession. And in reconciliation, when you go to confession, when you go to church and you ask for confession, the priest acts as that walkie-talkie to Jesus. So, the thief on the cross, he's up there, he's repenting, he's saying that he was sorry in his words. There was no need for his baptism because in that moment, Christ was there. You have maybe, hopefully, 80 to 90 years on your life that you will live. And so, what you should do is that unlike that thief, who only had mere minutes before maybe he died or Jesus did, instead, with those 80-something years that you have, you should seek out Christ, because you have the opportunity to be baptized. You have the opportunity to go to confession. It's not that everybody gets this immediate acceptance like the thief did, because unlike the thief, you have time, and so you should use it to do that which he taught, to go and confess your sins to others, which is the priest. Go and do good on what you've done, and truly repent for what you've done. Because that's what it means to be a Christian. That's what it means to be a good person in general. If you let things build up like a snowball, and you never talk about it, or you never do anything about it, it's just going to keep building up. If you confront your actions, like how I have, you will have that chance to make things right. So, I'm going to shift the topic just a little bit. So, this week is Vocations Week, so I'm going to delve a little into that. To begin with, on St. Bonaventure's campus, myself and my friends Wyatt Weaver, Sam Ross, and Patrick Frank, the full legal names, full government names, are beginning a new club for vocations on campus. So if you're listening to this and you're confused on your journey, please come join ours. We will delve into vocations. We're planning on having people of faith, nuns, priests, brothers, whatever else, to come talk about their lives. But it's not just for those people discerning holy orders. It's also for people discerning marriage, single life, whatever it may be. Single life and a cat. I mean, I've been there. So kind of the idea is that we're gonna go through it, and me and my friends aren't going to act as like that leader or whatever you may think. We also are confused on our journey, which is why collectively together we're going to join together and do our best. So, to delve a little bit more clearly into vocations in general, discernment, as I said, is not just priesthood or the convent. It's about what God wants for your life. A little while ago, a priest had told me that he discerns every day. And I found this fascinating because it's like, well, you went through, I don't know, 4 years of college, 7 years maybe of seminary, and now you've been a priest for maybe, 3-4 years? What do you mean you discern every day? Haven't you figured it out? But he said that he discerns every day because he wants to make sure that God's still telling him that he's doing the right thing. Now, granted, I've never seen a priest stop being a priest unless they did something like terribly bad, like excommunication worthy. So, generally speaking, you shouldn't discern in the idea of like, well, what do I have in my future? Discern in the day. I said in my last recording that I used to live on this ABC basis of I'm here, I'm there, I want to be here. But rather, you should discern every day. Look for your vocation every day, so that when the time comes that you have to make those decisions, you know what God wants for you. And it's not like you don't have, like, your own say in it. Tell God what you think. The thing is that God's plan for you is perfect. You only need to trust in it. But life is full of choices. Some are small, like how we spend our time, and others are life-changing, like our relationships, our work, our purpose. In all these things, it's easy to get lost in our own desires or in the noise of the world around us. That's why discernment, seeking God's wisdom in decision-making, is what's so important. Now, again, that's not to say that God doesn't care for what we want, because he does. It's just you shouldn't be afraid to tell God what it is you want for your life, but also realizing that what you want for your life and what you need for your life, what you need needs to be put first, because what you want may lead you down that path. You may not be able to realize it, that meadow over there looks great for grazing, but goodness gracious, the shepherd wants you back over before the wolves come get you. So the idea is that you need to put what you need first. Finding your path at God's eyes means willingly, being willing to let go of control and allowing his spirit to guide you. It may not always look like the easiest road, I promise you. And it may not be the one the world applauds, because it probably isn't. But it will always be the road that brings you peace, purpose, and eternal fruit. Before I end off today's show, I'm going to leave you with Psalm 31. In you, O Lord, I seek refuge. Do not let me ever be put to shame. In your righteousness deliver me. Incline your ear to me. Rescue me speedily. It's a prayer for deliverance and trust in God during times of distress, enemies, and public shaming. I'm sure you all have had this in your lives, especially if you're devout Catholics. I mean, I know I get it almost on the daily. Everybody's always questioning things. Oh, Catholic Church did this, Catholic Church did that. Whatever. I don't care, quite frankly. You're going to get this a lot. So pray. God will rescue you. God bless you all, and I hope that all the graces of God be with you. Pax Vobiscum. This has been WSBU 88.3, The Buzz. The Bonaventure Son. That is the official name of my show now. I have been Travis. I don't think I ever actually actively told you guys my name yet, so there you go, the man behind the voice. So I hope you all have a great day. I'm sure we've got plenty of beautiful music upcoming, so God bless you all. This next part of the show is a dialogue between me and my friend Kat, who is outspokenly very agnostic. She believes that there may be something out there, but she doesn't actively go out and seek it out. I think that this is something that Pope Leo has stressed in the past, and still is stressing, that interreligious dialogue and that dialogue between people that aren't of any faith. So I think as Catholics, this should be stressed a little bit more, because it allows for people to find the church. I do hope you enjoy this next part. The audio in it is very quiet, just due to my circumstances. I ask that you please forgive me for it. Please enjoy.
Okie dokie. So, I'm just going to ask you some questions. So, as you know, this is my little show that I do for the Buzz, but I think that sometime in the future I'm going to try and get, like, Brother Kevin on and some other people, but I think this is a good start. So, what do you know about religion in general and Christianity?
Not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think that your stance on things comes from a lack of understanding or just a lack to want to understand?
A mix of both. I don't really care to know. I live my life day in, day out. Like, I don't need a higher power because I'm already here.
Okay. So, not to delve too much into Christianity, but essentially you hold yourself at that standard of, like, kind of an idol. Like, kind of like, you're here, everything else is below you.
No.
Not like people, but like...
no, like, we're all living.
Okay.
I respect all things.
Okay.
But I don't... have like a faith. Like I don't have that urge to find something higher than me. I just am occupied with my day, I guess.
Okay. I like that. All right. So now that I kind of get that understanding, what was your upbringing like in terms of like religion in the household?
In the household, well, Mom is Protestant.
Okay.
Dad is Roman Catholic.
Do you know specific Protestant?
No.
Okay.
We're not very religious. My sister, she's baptized Protestant, but she classifies herself as an atheist.
Okay.
So, like, that's...
Atheist or agnostic?
Atheist.
Okay, atheist. Full. No religion, no God, nothing.
Yeah.
Black after death.
She's very...
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. So, how do you think that influenced, like, your growing up?
Honestly, not much. Like, religion didn't really have a big part. Like, my grandma was very religious.
Okay.
So, like, on the weekends when we would visit, we'd go.
Okay.
But it wasn't, like...
And she was Catholic?
Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic, okay. No, that's nice. It's interesting to hear. So, that, so your grandmother, Roman Catholic, Mom's Protestant, Dad's Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Does Dad still go?
No.
Okay.
We actually had to talk about this. Dad is very, thoughtful when it comes to religion.
Okay.
Has very many questions. We always have had very intellectual conversations about religion growing up.
That's good.
But he said that he feels fulfilled enough that he doesn't need to hear the goodness because he feels the goodness. Like he doesn't need to have that time of day when he could be doing other things if he feels good already.
Okay. So, what do you think Dad's grasp on, like, kind of the Bible is, necessarily?
No idea, we don't talk about the Bible.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I perceive the Bible as, like, my correlation to it is, say we all were to, like, go extinct.
Okay.
And the only thing left was the fairy tale story.
Okay.
And Humpty Dumpty's in there.
Okay.
And Humpty Dumpty's in there. And, the next people come, and they're like, wow, Humpty Dumpty must be our god, because he fell and he came again.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't know for sure.
Okay.
But it was written.
Okay. So, again, this segment, more or less, I wanted to just be, like, understanding your view.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to delve a little bit into the certain things that you talk about, but, the difference with that sort of thing is that Humpty Dumpty is a fairy tale, and it kind of, I mean, it's shown on the book.
How do you know?
Because it says.
How do you know it's not a fairy tale?
Because it's written on the book. When it was written, we know who the author was, and we also know who the authors of the Bible were, and there's historical evidence to show that there was Saint John, Paul, all of the apostles.
How many of them knew Jesus personally?
All of 12 of the apostles knew Jesus.
The ones written in the Bible.
Yep. On the when you look at the painting of the Last Supper, those are the 12 apostles and Jesus. So they knew him as well as they possibly could. Yeah. They knew him. They watched his miracles. They wrote it down. So the funny thing about it is that one of the biggest things that many atheists today will use against the Bible actually better supports it. And they say, well, it was written after Jesus' time. So what helps with it is that during Jesus' time, it was being written down. Kind of like how you saw today in my book. I was writing down questions throughout the day. I was writing down things that, well, while I was thinking about what I would want to ask you, I was writing it down. And then it was compiled after he had died. So the Bible may have been written after Jesus' death. Everything and the stories were written during his life. And then, well, they say, well, it happened hundreds of years later. How can that possibly be, how can you use that? The idea is that there's no contradictions within it. So if there's no contradictions, it was written past the time of Jesus, but it was written during the time of Jesus. Pretty much that's got to be the only reasonable explanation within the Catholic Church is that it was divinely inspired. Kind of what I'm getting at is that, again, with your dad and how he says that he feels the goodness. I'm not saying that he doesn't feel the goodness. I'm sure he does, but the idea is that within the Old Testament, it is to say that you should keep the Sabbath holy. So you go to church on Sundays because God gives you. He's always there. He's like always on call, and for you to go to him. But all he asks of you is that you spend an hour once a week dwelling within him. And not only it isn't just to worship him, it's to get something out of it. I go to daily mass every single day because it helps me recenter my life on what matters most to me. So when I go to daily mass, when I go to Sunday mass, I can recenter myself on what it means to be a Catholic, to live out my faith. Because a lot of people, you'll notice like holiday Catholics, which is like what I like to call them. They'll only come on the holidays. So if they're only coming on the holidays, which happen, maybe 4 times a year, only 4 times in a year are they truly setting aside just an hour to recenter themselves on speaking not just with their words, but with their actions, being able to recenter their lives on Christ to live out their faith.
Do you think it's easy for everyone to recenter?
No. I think it's a lot harder for other people. And I think that it's also difficult for people to make it to Mass. Some friends of mine from Boonville, I'm not going to name drop, but they're a very large family, 12 kids. And so to get all 12 of those kids to Mass every single Sunday is extremely difficult. They did it a lot of the time, but sometimes they couldn't make it. And especially during the winter. I mean, winters are fierce over there. So it was very difficult for them to get to Mass. But the idea is that they wanted to go to Mass. And sometimes they'd put it on the TV. So just that act of wanting to recenter their lives. It goes along with how, like the thief on the cross. You know the story? So I'll explain. There were 2 thieves on the cross. There were 2 thieves on crosses besides Jesus. One of them said, if you truly are God, testing him, if you truly are God, you will take us and yourself off of these crosses and we will be perfectly fine. And the other thief says, don't you understand? This is God. He has done nothing wrong. He's completely innocent, and yet he's being crucified alongside us, people who have done terrible things. Don't you understand? And Jesus looked over to the one that said that, and he said, today you will see me in paradise. Because the one tested God. He said, if you are what you say you are, you will do this for us. And the other one had humility. And he said, we are no better than like the dust on the ground. And yet here he is giving up his life for us. And so when you see that, it's like that man didn't need baptism because he truly wanted to have that relationship with Christ, with God. And so it goes the same way. If you truly want to go to Mass and recenter your life, you have it. But if you deliberately say that you don't need to go to Mass, you're not fulfilling what it is that you need. You're not eating, essentially. The idea is that when you receive the Eucharist, you're not feeding yourself. You're feeding your soul, and that's what Mass does. Yeah. And if you don't eat, you'll starve. If you don't go to Mass, you won't have that Christ-centeredness that we as Catholics believe so heavily in. I see. Does that make sense?
I guess, yeah.
All right. So, where do you think you sit currently on, like, if there is a God, if there isn't a God? Where do you...
frankly...
Maybe questioning?
I don't really care.
You don't care?
I've had a lot of things happen in my life. So, if anything, I resent it. That higher power.
I've noticed that a lot in a lot of people, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of people deal with.
Yeah. And I've yet to overcome that, so I'm very skeptical. But I do think there is some sort of higher power, whether it's the universe or your God or the Greek gods, whatever. I'm open to whatever it is, but I don't need my own specific thing.
So, you mentioned the other day intelligent design.
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of see you see how the trees and the water and everything else in the world work so perfectly. Is that something that kind of gives you that feeling that there might be something out there?
Like, yeah, there's definitely something higher than us. 100%, we're not it. But what that is, I've yet to know.
I see. So, in general, you would say that you don't really think about it all that much.
No.
Do you think that it is something that everybody should do? Like to actively study or research religion?
I think it should be like a consideration. It should be part of growing as a person. And because it's so big in everyone else's lives, like because so many people are so motivated, so moved by religion, I feel as though to understand others, you have to kind of understand it yourself.
So you would say yes.
To an extent.
To an extent. I think that, quite frankly, I think we had to write an essay about this in a Frank and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is something that everybody should consider once in their lives. Like, maybe multiple times in their lives, because a lot of things can change within you. I know that over these past 4 years, I've gone through several different stages in my life that have shaped the man that I am and the man that I want to be one day. But at each position in my life, so something that my priest, Father Matt Rawson, once told me is that every single day he discerns whether or not priesthood is still his vocation.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the idea is that God gives us these vocations, these paths that we should take, because it'll lead us down a life that will be fruitful for not only ourselves, but the people around us too, and benefit everybody. And so the idea is that you should every day kind of wake up thinking, well, what is it that I need to do today? What do you think that my vocation is in this day?
Mm-hmm.
And when he told me that, I was kind of astounded, because this is a guy that he went through, I believe, 7 years of seminary, was then made a priest, and then he's been a priest for, I believe it would have been 2 years at the time. So here's this man that has devoted his life to something higher than himself, and yet he still questions every day whether or not that's still what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But it's not about questioning if God has given you the right thing. It's about questioning if that's still what it is you still need to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating. And I think that people in general should question, well, what is this? Should this be something that is a core component of my life? And then as you go along, maybe day by day, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 10 years, is this something that I want? And maybe you have grown wiser. Maybe you've grown from experiences that you've had, and maybe that changes your view on things. And maybe God's ready to, or maybe you're ready to allow God into your life.
Mm-hmm.
I see that a lot. It's something I've noticed a lot with people in general. I want to know, what do you like and dislike about the Catholic Church in general?
I dislike how segregating they are. Like,
Okay.
I feel excluded.
Do you think that that's from the people that are a part of the church, or the church specifically? Both.
Mm-hmm. I've yet to take the time. I respect the church.
Okay.
But I don't, perchance, like it.
Okay.
Or at least the way that people use it.
Okay. Like how they sometimes use the church as justification for certain things that they do. Okay. I would say that that's something that you shouldn't hold the church against. Because, let's say somebody goes out and they say, I had a terrible teacher in 4th grade, and now I want to hurt somebody because of it. You wouldn't blame the 4th grade teacher or the school district. You would blame that person for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily the church that maybe has made you feel ostracized. It's the people within it. And in which case, I'd say I'm not going to condemn those people. I'm going to say that they did something wrong.
Yeah.
Because the church is supposed to be uplifting. Anybody is welcome. There's a quote. The church and God is not for the healthy people. It's not for the people that are doing well. It's for the broken people. Just like how a hospital isn't for healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the sick.
Yeah. It's
like, I go to Mass every Sunday, but I would say that I'm still pretty sick. I still need to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, maybe some people I know are doing very well for themselves. And maybe they don't sin as often as maybe I do, but yet they still need God. Everybody needs God, but the church is supposed to welcome everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've tried to do. And I think that's what everybody should do. If you're a Catholic, you don't turn away that person that maybe has done bad things. If anything, you bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. You bring everybody in.
Yeah.
Because that's what Christ did. He didn't choose the Pharisees. He didn't choose the good people that he could find. He chose the bad ones. St. Paul was a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he repented. And he dropped everything and followed Christ. I'm assuming he's doing pretty well for himself right now. So, no matter how terrible you may be, the church is that for people. It's that hospital.
Yeah.
So you told me what you dislike. What do you like? It's good to find the bad.
I like the good intentions. Putting good out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying good things.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
I like that it motivates people, but I don't find that motivation myself.
Okay. I mean, it's each their own. But if I may, I think my favorite part about Mass is just the idea that you can go there, no matter who you are,
mm-hmm.
and you can find solace. Because a lot of the time, at least from where I'm from, a small little church, the older people always like to see younger people like taking initiative and stuff, and so they'd always like try to get me to like read
Mm-hmm.
or be a Eucharistic minister, and they'd encourage me to like keep doing things, because what I see in them is that they're old, they're not gonna live much longer, and so what they want is to see people that are younger, that have a life ahead of them, keeping what they hold so dear
Mm-hmm.
around. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes. So, what do you like and dislike about the Catholic Church? Let's narrow it down. What do you like and dislike about Mass?
I really don't have the attention span for Mass.
A lot of people don't. I mean, the attention span of like people's dropped like 15 seconds or something. It's dropped a lot.
A lot.
Instagram Reels, TikTok, all that stuff.
All of it. Yeah. No, it's...
Do you think it teaches you patience, though?
If it was something that I could understand
Mm-hmm.
or grasp, they're speaking in words I don't understand.
Okay.
Like, they're going on about the Bible, oh, this happened in that, blah, 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 this story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, explain.
And that's what the homily's for.
I understand, but I also don't like, in Mass, the niche creed or whatever.
Oh,
That one
the
makes me
Nicene
feel
Creed.
so uncomfortable.
The Nicene Creed.
That gives cold vibes.
So, I remember the other day you said that you believe in, like, manifesting, quote unquote.
I believe, yeah, I think it's kind of fun.
Okay.
Might as well believe in something.
So, I would say that it's similar. So, you can say to people, oh yeah, I believe in God. I believe in Christ. Whatever it may be. However, when we do the Nicene Creed, it's manifesting, if you will, kind of essentially putting out and stating what we believe in. So, not so much just kind of like holding it in. It's like everybody here believes in the same exact thing, and so we're going to restate it. We verify it.
I see it as only my God is correct, and anything outside of that is incorrect. That's how I interpret it.
So, let's say hypothetical.
Okay.
Let's say you were God, and people down on Earth were worshiping other gods that did not exist, and you knew they didn't exist because you're God, and so you're seeing them worship things that are leading them down bad paths, and you're God, and so you want the best for them. You want them to have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Would you necessarily want them to, like, would you rather them have the, like, how should I put this? Would you rather them go off and do those things, or would you rather put yourself kind of like out there to, like, for people to follow you? Would you say, hey, don't worship this other stuff. I'm God.
How does God know?
What do you mean?
How does God know
About
that
what?
He's God? How do I know that I'm God?
You just do. You created the universe. You were there before universe. Before
I
time.
guess. But, like, at the same time, there's no knowing. So it's like, even in your hypothetical, I have questions.
So in the hypothetical, though, you are God.
I understand.
So you are all-knowing.
I am all-knowing, but
So you wouldn't have
I think
questions.
it's a little
Because you would know.
narcissistic. Why do you have to have everyone follow you?
He gives us the free will. I think that
So is that not the free will?
the free will is to do what you please. But he has stated that if it is that you want to follow me,
Mm-hmm.
to believe in me, you do not worship these other idols, these things that you have, or false gods. You shall have no other false gods before me, if you are to follow me. He gives us the free will to do as we please, but he states, if you're following me, here's the rules.
So then, yeah, if you follow him, then follow his rules.
Exactly.
But,
So, in the Catholic Church, when we do the Nicene Creed,
mm-hmm.
we are stating that we do follow him, and therefore we are not going to have any gods before him.
Yeah,
He is first.
I guess it just makes me uncomfortable.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I would say that if you understood everything in the Mass, I don't think you'd feel as uncomfortable, because then things would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd still have that, because maybe you still don't completely believe in it, but at the very least you would understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe a little less awkwardness.
Yeah.
That's what OCI is for. That's what I teach. So if you're ever
That's a no.
alright.
No offense.
No. I none taken. I just put myself out there. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you see yourself in the future with your faith, with whatever it is you have?
I don't know.
I know that you know that I preach like the whole, like, don't live in the moment, live in the day, and don't live in the future. But where do you think you see yourself? Maybe growing in it, or maybe just staying where you are?
It depends. Honestly, wherever life takes me, I think I'll go.
Okay.
I'm not, like, set in my ways, and I'm not set in what I want.
Alrighty.
So, whatever happens, I guess.
That's fair. I like that answer, to be honest with you. I like that. So, let's delve into people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, we heard today at Mass with vocations and everything. So, I think that I'm pretty sure you know what you want your vocation to be, which is married life, I assume.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of, let's start with friars. What do you think of their life? So, they take vows
I think
of...
it's sad.
Sad? Okay.
Can they have...
Can they have what?
Girlfriends?
They are not, they vow chastity.
But like no, like
No.
that makes me sad for them.
Okay. No, it's a perfectly reasonable thing to think. So, the friars here, so Brother Kevin, has vowed chastity, abstinence, everything else.
Yeah.
The idea with it is that you're giving up these pleasures of this world, and instead focusing your life on bettering the people around you, the earth, and devoting your life to God, to doing whatever He sees fit for your life. What is that? How do you feel about that?
Very respectable.
Okay.
You know, I like the people on the earth part. I think devoting your whole life to something, that's great. Could I do it myself? No.
And not everybody can.
But definitely very respectable.
So, to piggyback off that, what do you think of priests? So they do the same things. They vow and everything. But now they have the role of being, we call them father, because they're kind of like, in charge of the church, which the church is mother, essentially. Like, that's kind of like the idea. So you have this priest that has devoted his life to helping people around him, helping his parishioners, and fixing his parish, devoting his life to God, and then also taking upon the mantle of conducting Mass. What do you think of that?
I think also very respectable, but a lot of work. I don't know.
It is a lot of work. Trust me, I've seen.
I don't think much about it. I think they're up there. They're kind of like a teacher. You know, you have respect for your teacher.
Yes.
And they're getting stuff done. You know, you're going to listen sometimes.
Sometimes. You should listen most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I try to, and I listen to the good parts and the parts that speak out to me.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of wisdom to be gained in attending Mass. I would say, like, keep coming. I mean, we love to have you, quite frankly, Kat. So, to kind of tie us back in, bring us back in, are you interested in learning more? I think generally that's kind of like the synopsis.
Like, I guess so. But do I have the want to put the time in to learn? No.
I mean, college is very stressful. You got a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, even throughout my life, I've never had that want to put that time in.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
But I would do it, like, if I learned it sporadically, I feel like, yeah.
I would say that the, more or less kind of the difference between, like, you and maybe some of the kids in OCIA right now is that, the guys in OCIA right now are taking time out of their day to learn about things.
Yeah.
So they're making the initiative. I would say that right now you're at a point where you're not initiating it, but you're ready to learn if the time fits in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good starting place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm not condemning you for it. I think that's a good spot to be in right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that's everything I have for you, Kat.
Okay.
So to kind of tie it back in, wherever editing Travis wants to take with this, I've been Travis.
I've been Kat.
You've been listening to the Bonaventure Son. God bless.